What's up, everybody? Eric here from Tea and Tobacco. Today is the Sunday night chill out. I'm just gonna be chilling. I'm gonna be rolling some scrap like I in the past, drinking a little tea, enjoying one of my scrap smokes, and just generally hanging out. Got my nice overhead cam for you guys. You can see what I'm doing. Other than that, yeah, mostly just a open Q&A if you want to ask any questions, anything like that. Also, just want to let everybody know I did restart up my Patreon. Yeah, so you can go over, check that out. I should probably link that in the description, huh? And also, super chats are open and all that fun stuff. So, yeah, let's get this going this evening, and let me update that. I can update some of the links here in the notes. Should probably do that. Do a little link updating. But other than that, how's everybody's evening going? Everybody had a decent weekend now that it's unfortunately coming to a close, which is always never fun. And today I'm going to be drinking some... Oh, man, I don't remember which one this is. This is Show Mai. I was pretty sure it was Show Mai. Show Mai from 2015. It's really good stuff. Let me get some links here. It's really a pain. Like, they really jacked up how to do links live, which is always a problem. Let me get in social medias and Discord. So if you want, there is a Discord as well. I am monitoring that, but I'm mostly monitoring the YouTube chat. Cigar making. Hey, what's up? Yep, had a good weekend. Please check out my show if you get a chance. Okay. What show is that? I'm guessing you have a YouTube channel. Probably a good guess. So yeah, let's break up this cake a little bit here and get myself some tea going. This is kind of my favorite evening tea. It's relatively light. And I need to slightly move this light a little bit. Or I'll just move stuff on the screen later. Rankin to the rescue. What do you do? What do you do on your channel? The channel description says beer, drumming, motorcycles, paddleboarding, kayaks, longboarding, camping. Oh, what did I have showing here? So, what's everybody else up to? I need a less squeaky chair. Not a whole lot this week. For those who have been following the channel, obviously I had a couple live streams the past couple nights playing a very strange game. So you can go check that out. Doki Doki Literature Club. People wanted me to play it and stream it, so I did. Though it did result in a bunch of unsubs. So good job on that one. It's all right. Not a big deal. Some people aren't into the eclectic stuff, and you know, I have different hobbies other than just tea and tobacco, so I thought I would share those. Since I don't know, if people watch my stream or watch my channel for me, or do they watch it just because it's, you know, cigars and pipes, and I don't know who watches it specifically for tea. I don't know. It's not like I do a focus group on it or anything. Working on my RC truck. Is it a gas powered one, or is it still battery? I always kind of wanted a gas powered RC. Just got too many expensive hobbies though, so you know. Some of these have been a little hit or miss on the draw, but this one seems to be good, so I'm happy with that. No, it's electric. Axle SCX 10-2. Well, 10II, so 2 with an XJ Cherokee body. Nice. What's the top speed on something like that? Oh yeah, nice smoke output on this one. That's good. 5 miles an hour. So it's like a crawler. Nice. Don't have to have crazy reflexes then. Any games tonight or just craftsmanship? No gaming tonight, I don't think. Just going to work on this. It's going to be a chill night. I think the next game will be... oh, crap. What was it called? Rain World? Rain World will probably be the next game. Because I have been waiting to play that for quite a while. A tip for people when they're rolling, of course I'm not following it right now, is if your house is dry or whatever, just put a humidifier in the room that you're working on, because the leaf can dry out so quickly and become crunchy really fast. So you just want to, make sure you have at least a decent amount of humidity in your room. Unfortunately, mine's pretty low right now. This one's definitely one of my better rolls of scrap. Some of my scrap ones have been a little like they were light draws, but they weren't like drawing from the end. They were like there's like a leak somewhere in the middle, so I had to shorten it to kind of get the actual for it to actually burn and take a draw. Most of the chassis. Oh, that's cool. I'm hoping YouTube notifications actually work tonight, but somebody said one of the streams that didn't notify him, even though he had notifications on for my channel. And actually, I got a pretty decent number of people that have notifications on for my channel. So it'd be cool if more of them joined us. But got the core streamers here, I guess. Core stream watchers. We're almost coming up to 8,000, so if you guys get 8,000, then my wife will come on and we'll have tea and hang out. So that could be as soon as next week. I'm guessing it's probably the weekend after at the normal sub rate to hit 8,000. I hate that they got rid of now it's just all rounded on the YouTube counts, so you guys can't see. It says 8K for my channel, but it's actually like 7930 right now. I hate that they changed that so the public can't see what you're actually at. And it sucks because then tools like Social Blade now aren't as useful. I'm wondering if that's one of the reasons they did it, to curb the use of Social Blade and other third-party analytic tools. Just a little spritz. Just needs a little bit more moisture in it. Uh-oh. Am I getting text messages here? edge of this one's really folded. Tony from RI. How's it going? Dig the shirt. Yeah, thanks. $6 shirts. I have a lot of the same one. I have the hoodie of this. I have a green one. I have this gray one. I did have a... no, I had a green one, but my cat decided to claw it, so I had to toss it. So I need to re-up my my collection of this particular shirt. This one's going to be a bit of a fat one. Short and fat. How's it going to everybody who's joined? Just having a nice little chill this evening. Rolling up some scraps here because I have a lot of them, so I want to kind of work my way through them so I can at least get them used up, and eventually I'll have to place an order for some more whole leaf because I am out of all my whole leaf. So I have only a couple left of the ones that I've rolled, so I have like almost no more left of my personal blend, so I gotta roll some of those soon. But Cameroon wrappers will not be in until the spring, at least the spring for the northern hemisphere, because they are grown in Cameroon, which is currently in summertime right now, so they are currently growing. So waiting for their fall so they can harvest, and hopefully we can get some wrappers sometime soon. Because Cameroon is definitely my favorite wrapper, and I use that a lot. And I use that in my personal blend. But I'm pretty happy with. I haven't used this. I bought a bunch of it, so this is just Dominican binder. I don't know if it's Criollo or if it's Olor, or Criollo. I'm pretty sure it's Criollo. Because I don't think they got the Olor until after I bought this. But it's been really nice just using this binder leaf. Just doing a single layer with these scraps works out really nice. And I really like this binder leaf, so I might make a little modification to my personal blend and start using this Dominican binder instead. I usually use a Connecticut broadleaf for my binder. It's really thick, so it's easy to use. It doesn't tear very easily, but I haven't really been having any issues with this stuff, so. So if you haven't seen me rolling scraps before, I will take a bit of whole leaf and basically use it as like a little filter at the top so I don't get tons of little bits through the top. Works out quite well. I mean, you'll get pieces once in a while, but using a bit of whole leaf, kind of crinkled up accordion style, works nice to keep all the little bits at bay. It ain't pretty, but gets the job done. These are not gonna look pretty anyways because they are scrap, and you know, I'm not going for pretty here. I have no idea what that is. ULU? What? Oh, smells so good. How long do you... Well, okay, so after rolling the scrap ones, usually it doesn't take very long because the filler is pretty dry already, and I'm only using a single leaf on the outside. So really, you could come back and probably smoke these in a couple days, without much issue. Really, you can smoke them even if you're doing like the long filler ones. You can smoke them after a couple days. Just they might not burn that great. Well, this one's gonna be a little shorty because it's got a nice hole in the hole right here. But for the most part, I'll sit on them for quite a while. When I'm rolling like the whole leaf ones, I'll sit on them for a very long time. I mean, I have ones that if I have enough, then I'm just going to take the oldest first. So usually it's already been a couple years by the time I get to it. Like I said, I only have a few more left from like 2016. This one, I don't think I'm going to worry about the filter because it's just such a small one here. So this is going to be like a 5-minute smoke. That's a tiny one. Yeah, I guess technically this knife isn't a Chevetta. Because it has a handle and it's not solid. Guess the job done for me though. Maybe I'll grab a legit one at some point, but I haven't really felt the need. Ooh, got a blowout on this one. Let's try to... Might double wrap this one because it's kind of not holding up very well. Use an Inuit knife. Yeah, it's actually stamped Alaska on one side. Well, this wrapper is just falling apart, so I'm going to double wrap this one. Are your cigars any good? Yeah, they are awesome. I wouldn't be rolling them if they weren't. They're good because they're blended specifically for me, because I blended them specifically for me. So they taste exactly like stuff that I like, so they are good to me. Flavor wise, I'd put, you know, my whole leaf, my normal blend up against any of the national brands. Flavor-wise is delicious. Quality is going to be a little different, but, you can only do so much. No buzz. They're pretty much super low nicotine. I use very little Ligero in them. I use just a half a leaf of Ligero in them. The rest of it is all Seiko. How much was that pile of tobacco? Must have been... No, it's not that expensive. You can get whole leaf for... Well, like filler you can get for between $15 and $20 a pound. Binder's going to be more like $20 to $30 a pound. And wrapper can go from $25 all the way up to $80 a pound, depending on what type of wrapper you want to use. If you want like legit Connecticut shade wrapper from the Connecticut River Valley, that's kind of the most expensive stuff you can get a hold of. That's going to range depending on how big the leaf is. They grade it by leaf size. So for the premium shade grown stuff, it's going to be anywhere between $60 and $80 a pound for the Connecticut, actually grown in the Connecticut River Valley. So mostly grown in Massachusetts and Connecticut. That's going to be like kind of your more expensive stuff. But you can get Pennsylvania broadleaf for like $25 a pound. But it is really thick, so you don't get that many leaves. You get maybe 32 leaves a pound versus the shade grown, which is you're going to get like 90, which is going to wrap 180 cigars basically, because you only use half of the leaf per cigar, unless you do a double wrap. But most people, if they double anything up, it's usually the binder. I didn't need glue. Sometimes, I mean, you'll see barber pole sometimes, which is obviously 2 wrappers, but most things are double. If they're doubled up on one of the outer leaves, it's usually the binder. Like a lot of binder is just, it can't make wrapper grade, but it's like the same leaf as what would be a wrapper, but it just can't make the grade because of appearance, or there might be some flaws. Such as tiny pinholes or something like that, which is perfectly fine for a binder leaf because, it's going to get covered up with something anyways. And you just need to be able to hold the cigar together, which is perfectly fine if there's a little water spot or something on it. So, those are obviously going to add flavor. So if you want to double up, because you want like a doubled up, you want extra, Maduro or whatever, or extra Connecticut broadleaf, you can throw a couple on there as binder. Then you wrap it in something, something nice, something that looks nice. Not that the binder isn't already nice. Yeah, whole leaf is still considered an agricultural product. So as long as the midrib is still in it, then it's considered an agricultural product, and it's not taxed like other stuff. At least in the U.S. In the U.S., there's like no tobacco tax on whole leaf tobacco, as long as the midrib is still in it. So like, here's some Dominican Seiko. It's been this is what they call frog-legged. So they've taken out like the big hunk of the midrib, because everybody's going to toss that, throw it away anyways, so they just get rid of it, and they call this frog-legging. So this piece of this right here basically makes it as still an agricultural product with this midrib still left in here. I need some more leaf. I need some more wrappers. I'm gonna move these. Let them dry over here. So that's how like the filler leaves come. And then binder and wrapper tend to come in hands, so they're all tied up here at the end here. Usually they're 25. They're just packaged 25 to a hand, and this is how they come. They're already nice and flat, ready to go. This is how they arrive. You'll have to do your own research on that one. That one just has a ton of pinholes in it, so I'm just going to toss that into the filler pile. So some of these, I don't even know why some of these are actually put here as binder. I mean, this one has a hole in it at the top. But some of this stuff is really nice. I guess it's just little flaws, even just tiny flaws end up getting it tossed into the binder category. Before I wrap this up, I'll give it a nice little spritz. So then, like, the filler just comes flat packed, and then frog legged, like I showed you earlier. I'm going to stick with not giving out medical opinions. You can do research. CDC has done this CDC research out there about people who are light pipe and cigar smokers. You can go find that on your own. That's out. Hey, what's up, Steph and Skip? I know last week you said you'd join us, so glad to see you. I don't know if you had notifications on or anything, because I did put this up at like 4 o'clock, but somebody said that they weren't notified of my last stream, so I don't know. I don't know what's up with that. Yes, this is just distilled water to hydrate everything. This is just a little too... It is too crunchy. It's still pliable, but it's not pliable enough. So I'm going to let that soak for a little bit. Doesn't take long for that nice thin leaf. If you're working with like Connecticut broadleaf, it takes a lot longer to hydrate a piece of Connecticut broadleaf just because it's super thick. So Connecticut broadleaf I usually let sit overnight before I even use it. But this Dominican binder is pretty nice and thin. I don't store it too dry. As long as it's still pliable, it kind of feels like the texture of you kind of want it to be the texture of a paper bag. You know, it's still pliable, it's still bendy, but it's not gonna you know, fall apart on you when you squish it or whatever you want to say. Fold it over. If you can fold it over and it doesn't break, you're good. That's kind of what you're looking for. Why does YouTube hate streamers? Or is it the YouTube audience who hates streamers? Is that what you're saying? So I'm going to let that moisten for a little bit. Make myself some tea. Streamer I watch loses 100 subs the minute he hits the stream button. Because of YouTube or because of the audience? That's what I'm... The YouTube users don't like streamers? Or YouTube, the company, doesn't like streamers? I mean, YouTube, the company, doesn't seem to like anybody these days, so... No ads. All my streams have been getting flagged as not acceptable for all advertisers, so that's probably why you don't get an ad at the beginning. So I've had to appeal like a lot of my streams, and then of course that's after everybody's already watched it, so it doesn't really matter. And that's why they don't promote it. So we'll see how that goes. No, the thing about how just YouTube works is that if there's no ads on it, then it's not promoted, so they don't put it as a suggested video. So they basically suppress the exposure that you can even get on a demonetized video. So if you look at like reach, the second all my videos got demonetized back in like March, I was getting suggested something like 25,000 times a day, and then that dropped to 5,000. So it's not really, it has to do with both, because if they're not putting ads on it, then they're not going to bother promoting it. And that was the biggest thing that I saw. The day they demonetized my channel, or demonetized most of my videos, they went to sharing it 25,000 times a day down to 5,000 times a day. So that's the biggest thing. I really don't care about the, you know, the ads or anything, but it's they just suppress it afterwards. That's the thing. Well, even my game streams where there was no tobacco, they still flagged it originally as not suitable, and then I would put a review request in, and then they'd say it, oh, never mind, it's suitable. But of course, at that point, it's the reach is going to be dead because now it's going to be 3 days old, so it's going to get less promotion. Because that's how YouTube. I mean, if YouTube isn't making money on it, why bother even trying to serve the video? So the vast majority of, so and then back at the demonetization thing, my views from suggested videos was like 3 times anything else, and now it's less than the other things. Yeah, I mean, if people don't want to monetize, that's fine. I mean, you just get less exposure. And I want to be able to reach as many people as possible, and keep these hobbies alive. But if they are suppressing the suggestions, then it's a little harder to do that. So it's going to be probably a few more minutes before that's ready to start rolling. But yeah, I mean, if you qualify to be monetized, it's not a bad idea just to do it, because then you can get you get more exposure and more and more hits, so you can grow your audience more. That's just how it is. I mean, the biggest thing that still works out for me is that I think my how to smoke a pipe video comes up either number 1 or 2. That's the biggest driver to my channel these days. But it used to be way more because it would get suggested. So I used to get quadruple the hits on my how to smoke a pipe video up until when they decided they no longer wanted us on YouTube anymore. Yeah, running a channel like this is not cheap. I've invested in lights and cameras and stuff like that. So making up a little bit of the cost is nice. And I do purchase a lot of pipe tobaccos that I normally would not if it was just me, but I purchase it to review for you guys, and that obviously is not free. It's all, nobody's donating pipe tobaccos to me to review or cigars. So I just buy all that stuff, and I'll probably smoke, a little bit of it, but the rest of it I might not ever touch again because it's not something that I like, but I still review it to let people know the flavor profiles. I don't really I try not to rate stuff. I don't give it or what I think if it's good or bad unless it's terrible. I just give what flavors I detect and whatnot, and people, if they like that, they can go get it. Guns, tobacco are no words. Yeah, ATF, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms are basically the no-nos. All right, let's see what this leaf looks like. Oh yeah, there we go. It's in a decent state right now. This one is super thin. This should have been a wrapper, but it has a hole in it, so I'm gonna have to double wrap this one because this one is just super thin. It's definitely a wrapper leaf. Or being conservative, yeah. Being conservative or libertarian on YouTube is not a good idea. So yeah, I mean, I do this to, support my hobby, but also introduce other people to the hobby. This is how it is. So what else is going on? See people coming in and out, some new people. How's it going? People coming and going. Definitely got to double wrap this one. There's definitely just holes. But yeah, like this side of the leaf totally could have been. There's a little like blemish, I guess, on it, but other than that, this side of the leaf was super, super nice. Actually, that's going to be rolled in the opposite direction, so I'll grab a different one. Whatever. I'll roll it in the opposite direction. It's scrap, I don't really care. People still with me? Chat's gone a little quiet. I don't know when my next game stream will be. Like I said, I'm going to do Rain World. So maybe... I have to figure out my schedule because I need to figure out what I'm going to... I have to record a wrestling podcast too. But I haven't watched what I need to watch to review it first. So... I probably will do a wrestling podcast tomorrow night. And then maybe I will do Rain World on Tuesday on this channel. Just gotta get us going. I just got so many projects going on. I got my woodworking that I'm doing. Somebody ordered a nice ashtray from me, so I'm waiting for the wood to come in because they wanted it out of black palm. So it's gonna be a really cool ashtray, and it's gonna be a pipe ashtray. So I'll probably put up a little video on that because it's gonna be a brand spanking new design for me, and it's gonna be really cool looking. I think, especially being made out of black palm, that thing's gonna look sweet, really cool. I just got the stuff I needed today to... Oh my god, there's so many holes in this one. I don't know if I should even bother rolling. Let me check the other side. Alright, the other side's good, so I guess I'm just going to double wrap this one again. What's the difference between burn characteristics? It really depends. A lot of times you won't really have much in way of difference in burn characteristics because it really depends on the type of leaf you're using. If you're using a really thin leaf, you probably won't notice much. If you're using a couple really thick leaves, which you probably won't do to do a double binder, because the outside will burn way slower than the inside and you might get tunneling. But if you're using a really thin leaf like this and double bind this, it's going to burn just fine. Earlier I was talking about, I use Connecticut broadleaf a lot as a binder, and that's really thick. So that burns just fine if you just do it once. If you did a double binder with a Connecticut broadleaf, it might burn a little slow on the outside, so you might tunnel. Or if you did like a Connecticut broadleaf binder and then a Connecticut broadleaf wrapper, those are two really thick leaves, and it could just cause some tunneling, and you obviously don't want that. But that's kind of the biggest thing as far as burn characteristics. So if you're going to do a double binder, you're usually going to use a thinner leaf. And you're probably going to do it because it has really nice flavor. So you're going to add a kick of flavor from the binder because it's really nice. So that's probably why you're going to see it for the most part. And sometimes they'll do like a regular binder, and then they'll use a binder grade of the wrapper that they're using. So they'll use So basically, it's almost like a double wrapper, but they'll use a binder grade of that wrapper on the inside, and then wrap it with a wrapper grade of the same leaf. So you could do that too. Or I guess you could use 2 of the binder grade on the inside. So you could actually wrap it with 3 of the same leaf. What the hell is my wife doing? She's making some noise, and I'm not sure what she's doing. She might be using the blender. That might have been what she was doing. My office is right above the kitchen. I'm not really sure where the noise is coming from. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. I don't know if you guys could hear that in the audio. All right, put my little Seiko filter in there. If anybody is doing their own cigars and they use gum Arabic for a binder, for glue, get it off of Amazon. It's way cheaper. You can get like a pound of it for like $10 versus like 2 ounces of it for $10 at different places. Why do you crush the filler? Why not use full filler? So right now I'm just using, this is scrap from when I'm rolling. Where is it? Where's my bag? So this is just scrap off of my whole leaf cigars. So that's what this is. I'm just rolling, Cuban sandwiches out of the scrap I have. So it's already, broken up. It's just scrap already. And what I was doing there, I'm just taking a half of a filler leaf and just making a little filter basically up in the top to keep the small little bits from coming in when you're smoking it. So that's all I was doing there. I just crinkled it up, and then I just make really big pieces up in the filter here, or up in the head of the cigar. So when you smoke it, you don't get all the little tiny little bits. Definitely helps. So I'm going to double wrap that one because it's got a lot of holes in it. So yeah, this is just short filler cigars made out of scrap. That's all I'm doing. I have a lot of it because I have scrap from rolling about 200 cigars or so. So I have a lot of scrap that, I just don't want to waste it. And, if I'm going to go, I don't know, mow the lawn or do something like this where I keep letting it sit and go out, I'm not just sitting here, enjoying it. So, I have a bunch of yard gars or, casual cigars, I guess. I'm not sitting around just, reading a book or something. This, I'm doing stuff, so I'm constantly setting it and it ends up going out. But it still tastes great. It still smokes great. But yes, normally I do long filler. This is just a roll up of this at the right end. That's going to be a good one. Even just double wrapping it, you can see it's a bit smoother. I'm not going all out. Obviously, I would normally put these in a press or whatever. Well, not these ones because they're scrap and I don't care. I'm going freeform on these ones. Hope that answers your question that you had. Yeah, I mean, this is such really nice leaf. I mean, there's a little water spot right here, and that's probably the biggest reason why this particular leaf was rejected as a wrapper. But it is really, there's a little water spot down here, but this is way at the top, so probably normally if that was just there, it'd be fine. There's like really no holes in it, just right on the edge, or you're gonna cut that off. So I'm really happy with this binder. It's really nice, and it's not that expensive for how much you get. I think this binder is somewhere around 90 leaves per pound, so that's roughly to wrap roughly 180 cigars, unless you have to do a double or bind, unless you have to do a double binder. So 180 cigars, wrapper for 180 cigars for, I don't know, less than $30. I think this is $25 for a pound. I usually buy enough that I get wholesale pricing, so it's a little cheaper. So yeah, if you order more than 10 pounds from Leaf Only, then you can get wholesale pricing. So I usually order at least 10 pounds at once. I haven't ordered for quite a while because I have a lot. And, it's going to last forever as long as you're storing it correctly. I just have a big cooler. I have like a big 120 quart cooler that I store my whole leaf in. Just store it like you would in your cigars. Store it at, maybe not as high as humidity. 60, 65% is fine instead of closer to 70. But store's great. And once in a while, I'll just take my water bottle and spritz into the cooler, and everything's been pretty good. Just make sure you don't pack it too tight because you don't want it to start to ferment or compost on you, because that's not fun. I had a couple bags. I had some Virginia whole leaf that decided it was a little too moist and it was a little too packed tightly, and it was at the bottom. It ended up turning into compost. So I had to throw that away, unfortunately. It wasn't a big deal. It was like it was maybe like $14 worth. Not a huge deal. A little bit of a bummer though. That oh yeah, I need my little filter here. For saving money on your own casual cigar. Keep the hands busy while not being able to enjoy your yeah, exactly. Yeah, these are not for just like sitting back and chilling. These are I know I'm going to keep putting it down, and I know I'm going to it's going to go out a bunch of times. So basically, I just have this leaf here. It was I think it was this way. So this leaf came like this. Because I'm just making a little filter out of it. I'm going to, probably rip it into 4 parts, and then I'm going to kind of accordion it. So I might actually rip this in half too. There we go. So I got pretty big pieces. So I got like 8 pieces here. It's accordioned up. Obviously there's little bits falling off, but that's what I'm going to use as a filter to stop any of these small stuff from coming up out of the head of the cigar when you're smoking it. So that's all I'm doing for that. And I gotta chop up some more filler here. So yeah, I'm basically just making a filter up in the top. So once the glue dries, I will cut the head of the cigar before I put it in the in my humidor, so I can easily tell which ends what. So these I can just quickly grab. I don't need a cutter. I can just light them and go. So far, so good. I'm not doing like a fancy triple cap or anything on these. All right, let's get rid of these crumbs and chop up some more. So how long have I been on? Hour and 15 minutes. 2, 4, 7. Yeah, I'm a little slow because I've only rolled 8 cigars. I've also been talking to you guys, so. I'm not the fastest roller. Rocky Patel ain't going to be hiring me anytime soon. I think the people in the factories, they need to make like 250 cigars a day, something like that. I think that's their goal. I believe, and there's places like, I know like Rocky Patel, he limits their rollers to just 250 a day, so they don't feel like the need to rush, or, well, they're still going to go fast, but they don't need to feel the need to rush and make mistakes and stuff like that. So there's some people who do that. But 250 is way too many for me. No way I'd be able to bang that out in a day. It'd be like impossible. I might be able to bind 250, maybe, if the leaf was already prepped and ready to go. I definitely could not wrap 250. How's it going, everybody? All the new people who have joined. Been an up and down night. We're just chilling, just answering questions, rolling some scrap cigars. So as you can see, like here is just one of the cut off ends of like one of the cigars that I rolled. You know, so this is just the end that I don't need. So I'm just going through unrolling any of the ends that I've trimmed off so I can chop them up. So yeah, this is all scrap from my rolling of my long filler cigars. Where's the end of this thing? So this is probably a little bit of Connecticut broadleaf in here. I hope it'd be too much to smoke. I mean, a good cigar should last you at least an hour, so I don't think you could smoke 250 of them in a day with, you know, enjoying them. I'm sure you could burn 250 of them in a day. Probably wouldn't be very enjoyable, though. The long fillers I make are usually a 48 ring gauge, and I make them as long as I can, so they'll vary. I just cut them off where it doesn't look good anymore. So usually they're between 4.5 by 48 because I use Cameroon wrappers and they're small, so it's hard to get really long ones. But I can get some Churchill size. I can get some 7 by 48s. My mold is big enough. My mold is 7 by 48, so that's about the biggest size. That's the biggest size I can make with the molds I have. I would like to pick up like a 60 ring gauge mold at some point, so I can make some like nub style cigars. I think I saw a place that was selling 80 gauge, which is freaking huge. A little too big, I think. I don't want a 8-hour cigar. So yeah, this is all the scrap, and you gotta chop it up if you're gonna use it as short filler, because if it's too big, it could make a block. You can get a blockage inside the cigar, and then it won't smoke. So you have to chop it up. Kind of want pieces maybe a little smaller than a dime. Those usually work. That works pretty well. So you don't need to shred it like into cigarette tobacco or anything, but you do need to get it relatively small. So, a little piece like this. This is kind of like the size that I'm kind of shooting for. So as long as it's like that or smaller, it usually works out all right. But then anything big like this is just too big. It could cause a blockage, and then you won't be able to smoke. That's pretty good. Just a few big pieces here and there to break up, but other than that. So yeah, this is kind of the shred that you're looking for. Yeah, I don't have any La Tequila, just straight La Tequila right now. That would probably be really nice in a cigar. I don't think anybody really makes any cigars with just pure La Tequila in it. Obviously, there's some like dark fired Kentucky cigars, but I don't know if anybody puts any La Tequila in any. It'd suck the store though, because you'd have to like dedicate a humidor to it. Because you wouldn't want it, getting into the rest of your cigars, since obviously it's going to be very smoky. Also, La Tequila can degrade pretty quickly if it's just allowed to sit in the open air. Not that a humidor is open, but it's open enough that there's enough airflow that the La Tequila is going to degrade pretty fast. So it'd be kind of a roll it today, smoke it in 2 days type of thing. So that might be one of the reasons why it's not used. Why it's not used in cigars very often, if at all. I've seen Perique used in cigars. I don't remember who used it. Drew Estate's basically the only major player that uses kind of out of the norm stuff. Ooh, this is a little crunchy. Let me give this a spritz here. Just gonna let that hydrate for a minute. Add some English to the short filler. Maybe. Not tonight. But I will try it at some point. If I had some English I didn't care about. Getting rid of. I don't really have any. Oh, I had that little bit of cheap English, but that's about it. So I'll probably go until 10, so another half hour or so, and then we'll call it a night. Unless everybody just leaves, then I'll call it a night. But yeah, maybe we'll try to make this Sunday a little more consistent. Hey, how's it going? Slightly burnt toast. Not bad. We're just hanging out. It's a chilling type of evening. Just rolling some cigars out of scrap tobacco from my long filler cigars. So just building up an inventory of scrap cigars to just use when I'm doing stuff that I'm not looking to just sit down and enjoy the cigar as my activity, doing something else like this, for instance, because this cigar has gone out like a zillion times since I've been doing this. So that's kind of the occasion where I will use those. I don't need that much. Try this again. These are a little fatter than I've been rolling. Hopefully they smoke well. The ones I were rolling last time were more like 30 gauge. These are more like, these are pushing like 45 probably. Maybe even a couple of those are probably, one of those is probably like, a couple of those might actually be 50 on the ends. But other than that, not bad. I was talking about the next game stream I'm thinking is going to be Tuesday night. And that is going to be Rain World. Looking forward to that. I got other projects that I've been working on, so I just kind of gotta figure out all my scheduling because now I just have so much crap going on. I got a a wrestling podcast happening now that I do live, every Thursday night, but also as needed for New Japan, which their shows are inconsistently scheduled, so I do that as when stuff happens. So I just need to figure out when to fit stuff in for live streams here. I'll probably shoot a tobacco or cigar review tomorrow. So that will be up tomorrow, tomorrow night, probably. Maybe Tuesday night that will be up as well. But my plan is to shoot something tomorrow. That will just be a regular video, not a stream for this channel. And I think I do have to make a video for New Japan stuff on my wrestling channel. And then like I said, game probably on Tuesday. Because I have some woodworking projects I gotta do as well. So I'll probably make a video about that. I got an order for a really cool ashtray that I'm gonna be doing, made out of black palm, and it's not just gonna be a straight round one. It's actually gonna be a pipe. Specifically, it's a pipe ashtray. So it's going to be a long, like a foot long by about 5 inches wide. It's going to have like a square ashtray, and then on the outside, it's going to have a pipe rest on either side. It's going to be made out of black palm, so that should be pretty sweet. Are you on Twitch too, or just YouTube? Right now, I am just on YouTube. I do have a Twitch, but I pretty much never use it. I need to test Restream.io to see how that works to stream to both places at the same time. Though I'm not too sure on the advantage of one over the other, since I don't really use Twitch that much. So, I mean, if it's worth me streaming, if it's worth me multicasting or simulcasting to Twitch, I mean, that'd be sweet. Obviously not for this. This is probably not Twitch friendly. But any of my games, I could definitely stream to both places. So I do have a Twitch account. What's your favorite kind of car? I don't know what my current favorite car is. I haven't really been paying attention too much. I was always a big fan of the BMW Z3 they made in the late 90s. I'm not sure when they stopped making the Z3. They also had a Z8 that was very similar. That was really nice. So I was a big fan of those two cars. They're roadsters. I like the new Corvettes. The new Corvettes look pretty sweet. But I think my favorite car of like all time, like if I could choose a car that I really want, I would want a 74 Corvette Stingray convertible. That would be my favorite car. That's kind of like my dream car. Be a 74 Corvette convertible. Preferably black. Black or silver. I'll take silver too. I'm pretty sure they made them in silver that year. They made it a really weird burnt orange that year too. I'm not a big fan of the burnt orange. But I'm a big fan of the original Corvette Stingray body. I don't know why they're calling the new ones Stingrays. They don't look anything like that. No, it would be sweet if a car company released a vintage car, but with like current day technology. So if they released a car that looked exactly like a 1970s Stingray, but you know, with obviously modern engine and various, you know, systems and whatnot, that'd be sweet. That'd be really cool. Yeah, the last time I saw a Corvette convertible, the 74 or so, that was decent. That wasn't a total trash project car. I think they're going somewhere around 18 grand these days. They've fluctuated over the past few years. They used to be a lot cheaper. You could probably get one for about 10 grand a couple years ago. They've gone up in price a lot recently. I don't know if they're gonna head back down in price at some point. Probably not. But I'm a big fan of the Stingrays. I mean, I'd take a T-top Stingray if I had to. But I would like the convertible. I'm also a big fan of the 1950, 1952 in that range half-ton pickups from both Ford and Chevy. Those are really cool. I'd love to have one in like original, like mint condition. That would be sweet. I just love the look of those things. They're kind of like bubbly. I think I'd probably take the Chevy over the Ford, but I mean they both look very similar in around 1950. So that'd be another car I'd definitely take. Those you can get again, not in like project shape, something at least in decent condition, drivable and all that fun stuff. You can probably get those for around 15 these days. Old cars are expensive. Yeah, they are. They're not making any more of them. Would you be against playing Resident Evil 2 or 4? I mean, I'm not particularly against it, but I believe those are first persons, aren't they? Are they first persons? Possibly. Thing is, I have my nice 8-bit dough SNES controller that I love using, so that's why I like playing platformers and Metrovanias, because I can use my nice gamepad. They're not FPS. They're first persons, those, aren't they? No, they're third. But they're slow, right? They're not. It's not like I'd be running around at high speed, right? That's the thing that gets me. I get super dizzy for like Doom. Like Doom speed, I get like super dizzy playing stuff like that. I don't know. It's always been a weird thing ever since I was a kid. Games like Doom and Duke Nukem, they'd all give me headaches and make me dizzy. So I never really played them much. We did play a lot of Quake, and for whatever, Quake 3 did not do that to me, and Half-Life did not do that to me. It's just probably the weird mechanics and just how the physics work. So I guess it depends on the physics of the game if it's going to make me dizzy or not. But I don't really have a set attribute that I can pinpoint that is the reason. No, they're slower paced. Yeah, then sure. I can play like that. I can play a Resident Evil probably. With all the games people want me to play and stream, then I'm going to probably have to maybe I'll have like my dedicated stream time. Maybe the Tuesday night and Friday night I will make, this is when I'm definitely going to stream, and I'll pick the game ahead of time. Games are nauseating. They can be, yeah. So maybe I'll make like Tuesday night and Friday night my dedicated game night, where I'm gonna have a specific game that I'm gonna play, and maybe I'll just, whenever I feel like playing a game, and I'll just stream it, and people either have to find it or watch it later. That might have to be something that happens if this game backlog that people are asking me to check out gets too big. Because there's a lot of games that I want to play too. I do like puzzle games, yes. So like, I mean, not like puzzle games, but like stuff like Limbo. I was a big fan of that. I played through that on this channel, or at least a hunk of it. I like point and click adventures, like, oh yeah, Portal. God, that would be horrible, because Portal's all 3 dimensions. What was the game that came out in the 90s that was like that? Descent. Oh my God, that's the worst. So tell me about Twitch. Why should I stream to Twitch? That's the question of the day. And does anybody know how Restream.io works? Because it'd be nice, because I have all my subscribers are here, because I got almost 8,000 subscribers here, and like 1 on Twitch. So I most likely would simulcast here and Twitch at the same time. So that'd be fine. So I could start doing that. You should not actually. What? Sorry, the chat is about 30 seconds behind what I see. Or the video is 30 seconds behind. So when you say something, I could have said something 10 seconds ago, but you won't see it for another 20 seconds. Portal would probably kill me, yeah. I would never try multi-platform streaming. Why is that? I guess that's the question. Why shouldn't I multi-stream, and why should I stream on Twitch versus YouTube? Portal 2 co-op. Should not stream on Twitch. It's overcrowded. So I should just stay on YouTube like I've been doing. Make another short one here. This is just going to be a skinny short smoke, because this side of the wrapper was not very good. And I had to cut off a chunk. Make a short skinny smoke. There we go. Here's my nice little short, skinny smoke. That should be good. Let me tighten this up right here. I personally don't need to stream multiple platforms. I mean, I encourage you to do it just so you can see it yourself. But growing on Twitch is very slow. Yeah. I mean, as if Restream.io works just fine and there's not like any problems, then I'm perfectly fine on streaming to both places. I have I have three screens, so I could put my Twitch on one, and well, I could half and half my YouTube and Twitch, have my OBS or whatever, and then have my game. So it's not a problem as far as monitoring the two of them. So I could do, but if Restream IO works, that'd be great. Too bad I can't play Doom Eternal. I mean, I could play them. I'm just really bad at them too. I'm just really bad at first-person shooters. Personally, I'm moving more towards Facebook gaming. Interesting. Do you get a cut of ad money from Facebook? I'm just curious. Because I've been seeing so many people put stuff up on Facebook. It's like, especially like some of the bigger people who are usually on YouTube, who have probably make their living on YouTube. So I'm curious if you get any cut of ad money from Facebook because I haven't really looked into any other platforms. Well, I've done a little, but they're mostly all crap or too small. I mean, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook seem to be the only big ones out there that actually have the audience. Obviously, there's Daily Motion and all types of other places, but Daily Motion has serious limitations, so obviously you can't stream there. And even being like one of the only, I uploaded some cigar reviews and some pipe tobacco reviews up there, and even being like the only returned result for pipe tobacco or whatever, you still get like 0 views. So it's like, why am I wasting my time on Daily Motion when nobody's actually even watching? Sure, I believe so. I know the platform in which you can. BitChute is getting streaming soon. Mixer is good, but only if you play on Xbox. I have not had an Xbox for a very long time. I had the original Xbox, and then I had an Xbox 360, but that thing red ringed on me. Yeah, I'll have to look that up. I'm not sure how it works. It's probably a good idea to look it up. Though I'm guessing they also have policies against tobacco related stuff. Ooh, man, this did not roll well. Let me start over here. I rolled horribly. Ooh, a short, fat one on this, I guess. I think this will probably be my last one here. Is it difficult to do the 2-camera thing? No. Super easy. This is just a regular cheap webcam. This is my DSLR. But doing 2 DSLRs would not be a big issue. You just have to have enough USB. You have to have enough USB connections to do double cam. So some DSLRs have, you can actually use them as a webcam directly. This is a Canon. This is a T3i. So I'm actually using CamLink for it. I'm actually using the 4K CamLink, even though it's only a 1080 camera. But it's super easy to do dual cam. Not an issue at all. Well, that and your computer's got to be powerful enough to do it, but... So the cameras I normally use is so I usually film on a T5i, and then I have the T3i set up here as a webcam, basically. It's basically permanent mounted. I have a clamp. So in front of me, I have a 4 camera. Yes, that's the Elgato CamLink. So I actually have a 4 monitor set up right here. So it has a center post. So I got a clamp mount for my Canon. So my Canon is clamp mounted to the center post. And it works out just fine. So I mean, if I did get another CamLink, I could do the DSLR, but I mean this one is just a cheap Logitech, I don't know, 270 or whatever. And it's only 720, so it easily runs off of USB 2 versus the Cam Link, where you're definitely going to want to use USB 3. No, it's a 270. At least I'm like 90% sure it's a 270. Hold on, I'll check right now. Capture device C270. That's a Logitech C270. So I can actually get rid of that now because I'm not doing anything. So yeah, I mean, it's super easy, especially with like OBS. Super simple to just, do whatever you need, move it around. Gets the job done. It would be nice to get an overhead mount for a... Yeah, I told you, yeah, it's old. It's old and crappy. But it does what I need it. Well, one of the things, basically with any camera, as long as you have enough light, it's going to look better. So I have two, like, they're probably about 4,000 lumen each. I have two soft boxes right in front of me. So that way, everything looks nice. I'm definitely going to upgrade. Right now, these are compact fluorescents. I'm definitely going to upgrade to something more like a 6,000 lumen LED on each side. So I can, right now, the frame rate on the DSLR is running at, the shutter is at 30, is at a 30th of a second. So it'd be nice to have a little bit faster shutter speed. So a little bit more light would make it a little better. But I mean, if you're using this much light for a webcam that is supposed to be low light sensitive like this, it's definitely going to look a lot better. So yeah, when I'm doing like my cigar reviews, I have a 3 light setup. I have, a left and a right fill, and then I have a hair light usually behind me. I haven't used it for the past couple of videos because it's downstairs when I was doing my my woodworking, so I was using it there. Frame rates need to be over what? Frame rates need to be over 9,000? I have no idea what you're talking about. Using two soft boxes for my lights, yep. Yeah, I definitely want to upgrade to slightly brighter lights because, like I said, I have to run at 200 ISO and a 30th of a second shutter speed on my DSLR to look at this exposure. I mean, I'd like to run at 100 ISO and at least a 60th of a second shutter speed. Because that would be, it'd be less grain. Not that there's much grain on this anyways at, a 200 ISO on this camera anyways. But, if I upgraded to maybe like one of the higher end Canons, like a D5, 5D. But then the thing that I like about this is that it's the APC size sensor, so slightly smaller, which gives a wider depth of field, which is fine because I have to run the aperture wide open, and I don't want a shallow depth of field for what I'm doing here. So the APC size sensor is good. And the thing I like about these DSLRs, at least the Canon, I think all the Canon DSLRs that have been made in the past couple of years can run Magic Lantern, and that is why you don't see any, you don't see the focus box up here. And you don't see any any stats around is because Magic Lantern is actually suppressing showing all that stuff. If I didn't have Magic Lantern on here, I can't get rid of the focus box. So this would not make a very good webcam, but with Magic Lantern you can get rid of all that stuff. Also, there's a 30-minute timeout on these cameras. Again, Magic Lantern allows it to run infinitely. So I'm just running it. I'm actually running my DSLR. I have a battery, basically a fake battery pack that plugs in to the USB. So my USB port is actually powering my DSLR through a fake battery pack, basically. So this camera can run basically indefinitely because of Magic Lantern, because it overrides that 30-minute auto shut off, and it gets rid of the overlay. So that's kind of the best thing about these Canons. I believe like the Panasonics though, like the 5G or G5, the Luminex, whatever they are. Let's see. Sorry, I'm way behind here. Using 2 softboxes. Favorite movie. I think my favorite movie is American Beauty. Followed by Spring, Summer, Fall, Winter, and Spring, and Donnie Darko, then probably the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and Fight Club. Long stem, yeah, you're a little late. I was just about to wrap up. I was just going through these final questions. I moved to Fuji, never liked Magic Lantern when I was a Canon user. I've been using Canon for almost 10 years now. And I've had Magic Lantern since I got a Canon, just to use it mostly for time lapse, because it has you can use it allows you to do time lapse using the digital shutter instead of using the mechanical shutter, so you don't wear out your shutter. So that was nice, but still you could only do it at 1080p instead of the full 20 megapixels or whatever. But that wasn't a big deal to me at the time, and I don't really do much time lapse now anyways. The auto shut off is very annoying. Yeah, you can blame the European Jesus, the European. Oh my God, I can't even say it. European Union on that, of having to make these stupid auto shut offs and these 30-minute cutoffs of video length on DSLRs. That's it's all the Europeans' fault. Though I don't know why they just don't release 2 editions. Why don't they release a European edition to get around all the stupid taxes, and release a rest of the world edition for the rest of us that aren't, having to deal with those stupid taxes? Damn it. Well, have a good one, brother. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap up soon. I'm just finishing this out. But yeah, I mean that's kind of it. I mean, I'd like to get a better camera at some point. But right now, I think my lighting upgrade is probably my next thing. Just so I can shoot at a better ISO. But since both the Canons I have are good for what I'm doing, I haven't really had a super need to upgrade. And actually the T5i was my sister's, and she upgraded to a 5D. So she was never using the T5i, so she let me take it. But both of them have been working really well. I've had the T3i for probably 8 years now. I think it's an American market thing. They will have to be marketed as video cameras. No, it's the European Union. So the European Union is the problem. They have different taxes on video cameras versus photo cameras. So it's a European Union thing, not a United States thing. So they could release a separate one for the American market and not have all these stupid limitations that they have to put in to satisfy the EU. Your streams look sharp. My streams or your streams on GoPro? Thanks. Yeah, like I said, I'm using the T3i with the light boxes. I mean, it's really not that hard to make your video look good. It's just a lot of people don't understand the relation between aperture, sensor size, focal distance, lighting. So they do just really bad lighting, and they don't understand how camera lenses work. Because, like, back there is nice and out of focus, which it should be. But if you were using, like, a GoPro, that would be completely clear. Because the sensor size is so small that the depth of field is almost infinite. But here, I have, I'm zoomed in a little bit. My aperture is as wide open as it gets, so I have a shallower depth of field, which is why the background is at least out of focus a bit. And that's why I look sharp, because the background looks out of focus. And a lot of people don't understand how that works. That's a problem. Most people just put a webcam and that's it. Yeah, exactly. I think the biggest problem, I'd like to see more streaming cameras use at least the APC sensor size. But there isn't really anything. So you have to modify the DSLRs to work, or the well, I guess there's mirrorless cameras now too with the same size. I think the Panasonic Luminex is a mirrorless camera. But anyways, yeah. They need to make webcams specifically with APC size sensors, and then things would look good. That's what I would buy if they were available, but they're not. And definitely there's no 35 mil size. 35 mil size would be sweet. I didn't need the bokeh. Yeah. But I think that's why my streams might look sharper, because you see me in focus and you see that, like, my microphone and everything is nice and sharp, but the background is out of focus, which gives the illusion of my stream being, at least me having a sharper stream, because that's out of focus, I'm in focus. So it's kind of that illusion. But also it is obviously it's not a third of an inch size sensor. It's an APC size sensor, so it's a nice big sensor. That noise in the background was my water boiling, if people are curious what the noise was. The thing that kind of sucks, though, is that like when I was doing some woodworking stuff, there's just so much dust, and I don't have the lenses I have are not sealed lenses, so I need to figure out a way how to keep the dust out of the lenses when I'm doing woodworking. I'm hoping Canon or Nikon will release something for live streaming instead of vlogging. Yep. A lot of people have been switching over to Sony for that, and Panasonic. Everybody's gone over to, like, the whatever it is, the Luminex. Is it the 5G or the G5? I don't know which one. Thing is, I don't want to give up my Canon lenses. It's like Canon has so many awesome lenses, and there are a lot of third-party lenses. Like Sigma makes some really nice art lenses now that are a little cheaper than the Canon ones, but they're still really nice. So it's like, if I switched over to a different, I'd have to re-get lenses, and and since my sister and one of my good friends are also Canon shooters, if I need to borrow a macro lens for something, I can. if I need to borrow a really long lens, a really fast long lens from my friend, I can. So like most of the people I know are Canon shooters that are local to me that I could borrow lenses from. So that saves me a lot of money instead of have to buy a $2,000 lens. Yeah, the A7 or the 7A, whatever, the second one is really nice. Sigma is coming really strong with their. Yeah, Sigma has been doing really good with their lenses, and within like the past maybe 6 years when they started releasing their art lenses, they've had some really nice ones. Their 85 millimeter is really really beautiful. Looks really great on a 35 mil frame. Yeah, that one's a really cool lens. I mean, they have a really nice 50 millimeter. They have a really nice 40 millimeter. They have a really nice 135 millimeter. And they have some really cool, like really wide angle lenses, like 18 millimeters. You just have a very, yeah. The Zeiss lenses have gone downhill. Well, they're really really expensive, and they haven't been making them nearly as fast as say like Canon. So like you can get like a 50 millimeter Canon. The 1.2 is like, I don't know, just over $1,000, but the Carl Zeiss is like $2,000 for the 50 millimeter 1.2, or it might even be like a 1.4. Canon used to make a 50 millimeter one, but they stopped making it quite a long time ago. So I think 1.2 is kind of the fastest you can get 50 millimeter. Switch from Canon to Nikon to Fuji. I don't even know much about Fuji's cameras. They've been so far down. They've been far behind for quite a while. But yes, I would love if Canon made something that you could hook up to your computer and with like either the HDMI or the USB and have nice quality right out of the camera. That is a DSLR. Though you could get one of their actual video cameras, like the C100, like their cinema cameras. Those are really nice, and I think they do output, at their native frame rate, at their native resolution and all that stuff. And they take EF lenses as well. So you can use either the cinema lenses or use regular EF mount lenses on them. You just don't have the follow focus and stuff on those lenses, though you can rig something up. All right, I think that's enough video talk for tonight. I'm gonna wrap it up here because I have to work in the morning, and I have to clean up my desk because this is where I work. So yeah, I got to I gotta pack it in. And yeah, so let's say Tuesday night we will do Rain World. We'll do Rain World. Maybe I'll start a little earlier. Maybe I'll do like 7 o'clock Eastern for Rain World, so I'm not going too late because I've been running about 3 hours on those streams, so that will only bring us to about 10 o'clock. So let's plan on 7 o'clock for Rain World on Tuesday, and then maybe I'll bump up Friday nights to 7 o'clock as well, so we can not go as freaking late as always. Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me tonight, and I will see you next time on Tea and Tobacco. See you later, guys.